Welcome to the Phantom Zone.
Alright, so we watched the Justice League of America 1997 pilot/movie that, oh god. So, quick plot crunch. So,
they couldn't even get a real villain.
So, an evil character, the Weatherman, is intent on destroying New Metro City with a series of malevolent meteorological mishaps. Can the superpowered team that's semi-unemployed, Justice League of America, save the day? We get introduced to a new superhero and weird office-style interviews.
That was the best part.
So, with us on the special, as always, is Alan Muir.
Hello, and the thing is, about those office-style interviews, they don't tell you how much time has passed before or after. You have to guess.
And special guest, member of And Now Comics and Legion of Toon, Ryan Fretz.
Hey, it's good to be special. Hello, everyone.
Yeah, so this was a thing. So I'm gonna look up to see how many years after the Flash, the '90s Flash TV show this was. That was 2 years. So this is like 5 years later.
5 to 6.
I'm trying to think what else was going on in '97. Because was Batman and Robin around this time?
Yeah.
Okay, so we do also get basically two characters that we've never had live actions before or since in, actually no, 3: Fire, Ice, and Guy Gardner. And then how do we even talk about this? Like, it's so weird.
Because one character would go through a big fundamental change in terms of the way he would be appearing, and that would be Martian Manhunter, thanks to Smallville.
Yeah, so we've gotten a Smallville interpretation, and then he's currently on Supergirl. Barry Allen, we've had the TV show and the Justice League movie. Ray Palmer, we've had the, first on Arrow and then now part of Legends of Tomorrow. And the Weatherman, we've actually gotten 2 Weathermen on Flash, the TV show. And Witch, the daughter, too.
Those are Weather Wizards.
Weather Wizards, oh, okay. This guy didn't go by Weather Wizard, he just went by Weatherman.
I was actually thinking right when you were bringing up the Weatherman, I was like, was this before or after DC bought Wildstorm?
97? It might be before. Yeah, he's the Weatherman. He's not Weather Wizard. So this cast is kind of weird because there are some people. It's basically filled with character actors. But so we have, I guess, the leader of the team is Guy Gardner. Would you guys say that?
Even though he's clearly Hal Jordan, based on his. I mean, because there really wasn't much. Vest. Yeah, except for the vest. Like he didn't have the bowl cut. He wasn't a ginger.
Yeah, he's not a cop. What did they say his day job even is? Does he have one?
He's in sales, which is something Hal Jordan was a job he did have.
And he tries to play off that he's like a ladies' man. So yeah, he's basically Hal Jordan, but he's not Hal Jordan. He's Guy Gardner.
And so they straight up do a Batman analog. At least the theatrical Batman films.
Oh yeah, they do a bunch of weird stuff in here.
Where someone love interest doesn't want to speak to him, but is awestruck by.
Oh yeah, there's a Batman, Superman did that too with Lois Lane, the movie was.
Yeah.
So then their next person, I'm just going through the IMDb, would be Ice. So Tori Olafsdotter. So Ice is whatever, it's exactly what her name is. She's basically Sub-Zero. She's not Killer Frost, but she's Ice. She has cold powers. Played by Kimberly Oja, who was it the OC, or was she the one that was in?
No, she was the one from the OC.
She is the one from the OC?
Yeah, she played a really snotty rich white lady.
Yes, and I skipped over. Guy Gardner is played by Matthew Settle,
who was on Band Brothers. He was on Gossip Girl, which is where we're headed in terms of network-wise, or is what the WB ended up becoming with Smallville.
And so the next person on our list is Ray Palmer, the Atom, played by John Kaiser.
Oh, God.
I actually liked him.
I think he actually played Ray Palmer good. It's just a weird choice. And the costume looks like they bought it at Toys R Us.
All the
He
costumes.
looks like he's like a character from like He-Man, like that big bulky armor.
It looks like sprayed styrofoam.
That's probably what it was.
It looks like really bad, like early cosplay.
I mean, there was a few good like tidbits like regarding the costumes. Like Guy Gardner's costume was like not bad.
Barry's was the worst.
The Flash could have had a better mask. Like
I would say, well, Green Lanterns isn't bad because it's
actually no. I know which one is the worst. Martian Manhunter.
Yeah,
the Manhunter. Yeah, it was bad, but like I don't know, he wasn't that bad.
The reason why Green Lanterns is the best one is because it's the least costumey.
Yeah,
and he's not wearing green. It's more like a turquoise, like a bluish. Like
yeah, because otherwise they'd have 2 characters in green, or actually 3. They'd have 3 green characters in the show. But John Kaiser is the Crypt Keeper,
and was married to Julie Benz of Angel and Buffy fame.
Oh, really?
Yeah, wasn't she the one who was in? She was in the pilot of Buffy. Ended up on Angel.
Oh, I don't remember. Oh my god, I was thinking. So I thought he kind of looked like Larry Fine, and he apparently played Shemp in like a Three Stooges thing.
Yeah, I saw that.
But like he's been like,
page.
Yeah, he's like the voice actor extraordinaire. Like he's been in everything. He was in Pete's Dragon. We were talking about he was the voice of Deadpool in X-Men Legends, both those games, and Ultimate Alliance.
Are we going to talk about what he's primarily known for? Like his real cred?
Yeah, he is the Crypt Keeper from Tales of the Crypt, which is crazy. I did not know that this is the face of the guy that did that voice.
Yeah, I got my Tales thing wrong, and instead of watching Tales from the Crypt, I saw Tales from the Hood, which scarred me for life.
Oh man, but he's like, his voice acting work is incredible. Like his IMDb is like insane, but he does like a lot of like filler voice work for everything. But he's been Rick and Morty, Simpsons, Samurai Jack.
He does. Like Lou said, he does a lot of big game voices. He recently did most recent stuff. It was for Final Fantasy 15, and we were talking before we started the recording based on his like how he looks now compared to how he looks in this. He looks much better now.
Yeah, I think it's the hair. Like his hair is preposterous in this. Like it is. He will go through like how they play the characters, but to me, like he's kind of doing almost a George Costanza kind of thing.
It's more like a mix of a George Costanza and the stereotypical 90s nerd.
Yes, he's very stereotypical 90s nerd. So let's move on to our next Justice Leaguer. That'll be B.B. DaCosta, Fire, played by Michelle Hurd. So I don't remember if the character was an actress in the comics.
No, I was going to mention the actress, her merits.
Oh yeah, she's been in a ton of stuff.
She was on the first season of SVU before she got replaced by SD. She was on Daredevil. Yep,
she played
in the best season.
Yeah. I believe she's in season 2, right?
Yeah, she's the district attorney who wants to just
go after the Punisher,
like
crazy. Yeah,
she doesn't want to physically pull the trigger, but she wants to do everything but.
Oh, and she first appeared in Jessica Jones, but she's been like The Glades, Pretty Little Liars, Bosch, Ash vs. the Evil Dead, the Lethal Weapon TV show, which just ended.
Oh god, her death in Ash vs. Evil Dead is great.
Hawaii 5-0. She's currently on Blind Spot, which is the show that Jamie Alexander that played Sif is in. And then she's apparently in an untitled Star Trek series, which I wonder if it's that Picard series.
Who knows? There's so many at this point.
Yeah. I would say she's one of the bigger names that came out of this. Although I think the biggest name is probably the guy who has the worst character in this episode. So next we have Barry Allen, the Flash, played by Kenny Johnson.
Homeless Flash.
Yeah. I was going to say Barry Tribbiani Johnson.
Yeah.
Because he is 1,000% doing is Joey, especially early seasons of Friends, where he can't find a job, but he's so Guido Goomba'd out. It's so weird. And oh my god. So
I mean,
he's done things.
No, I was gonna say John Wesley Shipp's performance as the Flash, you could buy it. At the very least, I mean, he didn't have with every live action incarnation of the Flash. Mm-hmm. They never cast an actual blonde.
Yeah, Shipp is kind of like Gustin, where he has that light brown hair.
Yeah, and he's one of the the only reason that the John Wesley Ship Flash series got canceled was budget, or
Yeah,
not.
it was
It was
way too
budget.
expensive.
Yeah, they couldn't. CBS couldn't afford to air it anymore.
Mm-hmm. So our next person on our list plays Martin Walters, played by David Krumholtz, who's done like tons of stuff now. I'm trying to look through his IMDb here. Numbers, Mom, The Good Wife. He's been in a bunch of movies: Sausage Party, Hail Caesar.
He's most recognizable for his role as Bernard the Elf, which is in the Santa Claus series.
Yeah, when he was younger, yeah. But he's done a bunch of stuff when he got older as well.
Yeah, but it's one of those roles that, I mean, I'm amazed that how well he did, how well he transitioned.
Oh, he was also did Harold and Kumar. Don't forget he was in Serenity and
Can't Stop Signal.
Mm-hmm. So he's been in a ton of stuff. He was in ER.
Harold and Kumar.
Yeah.
So
he did like kind of the most out of this group. Probably next to one of the next couple of person. So I'll only bring it up, even though she has a very big part in the show. But Cheryl, who's Guy Gardner's girlfriend, is the redhead in basically every '90s TV show. So she was in Clueless the movie, Clueless TV show. She was
the Roxbury.
Yeah, she was one of the roommates for Sabrina the Teenage Witch. Yeah. Which is really funny. And then the last person will be, the last two. So we have John Jones, the Martian Manhunter, played by David Ogden Sears, who's been around for forever. He's done a ton of stuff. He's super character actor, originally from MASH. We'll talk about him when we get to that character or when we go through the plot. And then Miguel Ferreira, who plays Dr. Eno / the Weatherman, who's also been like in a million things. What's weird, the movie that pops in my head is that he's the bad guy in Blank Check. But he's also in RoboCop. He's in Hot Shots.
He's RoboCop's father.
Yeah, he's the character that in the remake, what's his name, played Michael Keaton, right? Whoa, I did not. He plays the voice of Deathstroke in Teen Titans, the current one, the Judas Contract animated movie.
Does he?
Yes.
Did not know that.
He's also in the MCU. He plays the vice president that we see in Iron Man 3. He does the voice of Vandal Savage in Young Justice. So I wonder if he...
No, we talked about this on when we were reviewing the episodes of Legion of Doom.
Mm-hmm.
He must have recorded them, but must have had to have been like stuff they didn't air.
Yeah, because he
passed away before the season came back.
Yeah. So he was in Desperate Housewives, The Protector, Ben 10. Just like tons and tons of stuff. He's been around forever. He was in the remake of Bionic Woman. Oh man, he was in the Jackie Chan Adventures.
Miguel Ferrer?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, I admit that because it had Jackie Chan's involvement, I think.
Oh my god, this is hilarious. I love that show, by the way. He reprised his role as he did the Weather Wizard and Aquaman in the Superman TV show, the cartoon.
Wow.
Yeah,
wait, the Superman the Anime series?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's what this is. Yep, the Superman anime series. So he was the voice of Aquaman, some character I don't know, and Weather Wizard, who had an episode, because that was the Flash episode, where they had the race. The Weather Wizard was the villain. So yeah, he's been on a ton of stuff. Twin Peaks, forever. He was a he's a big character actor. So I think that does it through our cast. As I close out through all my windows. So this movie pilot. So this was supposed to be like a movie that rolled into a TV show, and basically they tried to make friends with superpowers, but
and early Office.
Yeah, so there's like when we start off the show, it is a like black box interview with Ice
about she's like I'm new, like she's new to the league. And then
like who is she talking to and why? It's that whole weird like I guess they like did they ever explain like I'm not like I'm outing myself as like I'm not a big Office fan. So like do they ever explain who they're talking to in that show or like
Oh yeah. They're actually being like it was a documentary about the paper company, but CBS was like very interested in their lives, so they just kept following them around. And like during like the last season, it airs on like TV, and like there's like a Q&A with like the people who work at the office with like their fans.
Oh, really? Okay. So yeah, like they never really explain who they're talking to, so we get to see them. I think each person individually, and then a couple of them as like groups talking to camera.
You know, it ironically it didn't remind me of The Office with the way everything was shot. It reminded me more of the show that used to be on G4 called Icons. but from like G4's first year, like 02 to 03, where it was just where like it wasn't really it was great, but some of this, like the camera work and stuff, some things weren't in focus. It's odd.
Yeah, this whole thing is odd. So we go from her, and we that brings us into the Eno Meteorological Institute and our introduction to New Metro City. And then so they are getting attacked by a tornado, and then we get this weird off to the side, like they're watching a TV screen, like a TV that gets taken over by the weatherman, which looks like a dude wearing sunglasses and like a bandana over his head and then a different one over his mouth. Which, wow, did they like not even attempt to put any money into that character? And then we cut to our first superhero, which is the Flash showing up and super speeding to dissipate the tornado. And then we get to see the other characters. So Fire, I believe she leaves her, what is she gonna, she's doing an audition to be like kind of like a Fruit of the Looms fruit.
Yeah.
And that's where we meet, oh my God, that's where we meet, oh, Martin. So David Krumholtz's character, Guy Gardner's on a date with his girlfriend, and Ray Palmer is teaching a class in high school.
Which he says he gets the beeper, or I'm assuming.
Oh my God, yeah, you're right. They all have beepers.
He gets the alert, and he just says, he calls out random student who I'm assuming is a burnout.
I thought it was like, I was like, it looks like a high school class, but I guess it's college, and it's his TA. Is what I'm guessing.
But his TA looked like he was a hardcore stoner.
Yeah, and he was sitting with the kids, like he wasn't like off to the side. So yeah, it's okay.
I think it was high school.
Yeah,
and he just basically called a student who was sleeping up to like teach the class,
which is like super illegal.
There's a scene later on where Ice Cat she tracks down Ray Palmer and says there aren't that many high school science teachers named Ray Palmer.
Oh my God! So he just leaves his students to another student?
Yeah.
He gets
so he just abandons a room full of minors.
He deputizes the student, who then says, "Class is canceled."
Yeah, he's really fired from his job as a teacher. So the next thing, so after they save everything, and we see them save people, so do we want to talk about the special effects? I know this is 97.
I actually like the Green Lantern effects.
Yeah, they were much better than the Green Lantern film.
Yeah, they were. The effects in like this was like a lot better, especially for the time.
They weren't terrible. Like, I don't know how to feel about the shrinking. Like whenever Adam shrinks, and then it is the worst green screen, but I guess that's the best they could do. But it's hilariously bad. Like him interacting with stuff,
especially the limbo scene.
Oh, like why? Why was that even happening?
I don't know. It was just really bad. I watched it and I cringed.
As I mentioned to Lou right before recording, as soon as they got to about an hour in, I had to clock out because
it's long. This is like an hour and 20 minutes, so like it's a long movie show pilot thing.
I had to literally stop watching it because it got to Martian Manhunter, even though I love the character. I first went to YouTube to watch a Smallville clip with Martian Manhunter and Clark during season 6. And then I just said, fuck it, I'm watching TOS. That's how bad Martian Manhunter is in this. And the thing is, 13 times he has the least screen time out of any of the Leaguers.
Oh yeah, because he's basically, which when we get to it, like he's so weird to be in this.
Yeah, because like they're building up to his arrival. Like you see at first you assume it's him because they're talking to someone. They're communicating with TV, and they're like, I hate when he does that. Then you see a green hand when he's disguised as Dr. Eno.
Oh yeah. Well, when we get to that part, like that is like I don't even understand like what is supposed to be going on.
Again, that's part I had to clock out at because I just couldn't do it. It broke me.
Yeah, I completely understand that. So after the heroes save the day, they go into an alley and change. Like Green Lantern removes his clothes and changes, as does Fire and the Flash and the Atom. Like I don't understand like this changing scene. Like they literally walk away with like their clothes, and they even reference the fact that Fire has like the eye makeup still on her face. So I guess she puts that on before she goes to fight crime. Like it's like a weird like self-referential like meta thing showing that like because they do that like we've seen the whole first season or first 2 seasons of Arrow. He has like the eye paint on or whatever. It's like okay, so like you can do it, but like you don't really have to point out that it's like there kind of a thing. It's really just weird. But like Green Lantern specifically, I was like, why are we seeing him change? Like it should be just like made from the ring. It's like very easy to just write that off, but they don't. They specifically show them like stuffing bags with their clothes. It was just super weird. So from here we go to like, I think is this where Barry brings up the fact that like he got kicked out of his apartment? And is like kind of like hinting at, can I like live with any of you guys? And then I'll just kind of like leave. And this is also, so Guy ditched his girlfriend, so she's pissed.
Well, no, the whole thing in the Flash, we see his landlord throwing his apartment. We see the
oh yes, you're right.
The breakup, what would be the breakup scene, where the ex is just like finds out he cheated on her, and she's throwing his clothes out, but it's actually just the landlord instead.
Yeah, it's like it's a weird scene. So this is where we get our like Joey Tribbiani like introduction, where he's just like this bum that no one wants to deal with. And so I think the next thing we see is so Fire goes back and like everybody's gone, but she meets Krumholtz again, and he's like, kind of says how much he's like into her, like he thinks that she's talented, and I guess he's supposed to be like in like college-ish, right? No, he gets an allowance still, right? So how old is his character supposed to be?
22.
And he gets an allowance still. I don't get his character at all because it's like weird. He's old enough.
I don't know. I guess he's supposed to be what people think comic book fans were at the time.
I guess because he's like fanboying out on her, but she's like sort of entertaining the idea of him.
And he's sort of stalkerish.
Yeah, but he's like kind of sweet, I guess. And then,
I mean, certain parts where they try to establish a character, I just straight up think he's lying about it. Because she's like, "How old are you?" And he says 22.
Yeah, I think,
and she just looks so like she wants to just get out of the situation.
Okay, so so the next thing we go to is we see Tori, Ice going and looking at stuff, and this is where like she goes to enter her lab, and the guy's like, like can't be too secure, and she's like, okay, that's weird. And then he's like, did you talk to the guy, like talk to Eno? And she's like, no, I didn't talk to him, but this didn't come up because I think. Doesn't Eno offer her like to like take like a lead role at the place?
Yeah.
So then she goes in the room. She's playing with ping pong balls.
No,
they're like there's some sort of balls for something. Like
yeah, sort of like I'm not straight up saying it's a meth lab.
It's
level of amateurish stuff.
Yeah, it's like a lab within in a back room of this meteorological building. It's weird, but one of the balls falls, and she like clumsily bumps into a machine, and it moves to reveal a hidden compartment with a
suitcase.
It's like an attaché, like case and she opens it, and it's like, what is this? It's all electronic. Spills a glass of water on it, so instead of it just like fizzing out and breaking, it zaps her, and thus she now has ice powers. Because reasons. Which is she's kind of. I'm trying to think. They we do get Adams. We also get Adam. We get her and Adam's origin stories in this, which are both super goddamn weird. So she leaves there. She's like all weirded out. Some dude. I can't remember how he ends up like falling into like a lake or a pond or something, and he's drowning. And then she goes to save him, and the water turns to ice.
And you'd think that it would freeze him too because he's in it.
But no, he's just like, it just froze around me.
And he too is also he looks like a stoner.
Oh, yes. So basically we cut to the JLA, and they think that she's the weatherman. So they black bag abduct her, and bring her to their base.
I have issues with the base.
They don't actually, no, they're just, they go out, they go to see, they see her on the news, or they see stuff on the news, they think it's the weatherman. And I'm not sure if it was before or after, or they just get a lead. They go to where she works or her place of employment, and that's where we get the Adam.
Okay, I thought it went the other way around, But no, yeah, I'm not sure which happened. But yeah, at some point they go to like a party at like because it's Eno is having a party because a congressman is supposed to go there,
and then he's supposed to get funding.
Yes, so yeah, he's supposed to get funding. The congressman doesn't show.
But the guy who's supposed to be associated with the congressman basically tries to, or doesn't attempt to. He just like, I'm here for the party, whatever. I'm sure you're doing good work. Yeah, I'm probably drunk.
They get in because Fire's hot, and that's how she gets in. And then Green Lantern steals the badge from the person in front of him with his ring.
That I liked.
And then Barry's just like...
He just abuses his powers.
Yeah, and he just like goes inside. It's like, okay.
And then, that's like the one thing on the Flash right now that they never do, because it's... in the chat we're recording this on, I'm looking at the picture of the Flash Year 1, which is the whole Damn It Barry, and it's just Barry Allen steps in to be a dumbass.
Yeah, but this Barry Allen is like beyond. Yeah, they're inside. He asks like a waiter if they're hiring.
He is he is the simple Jack of all the Barry ranks.
Oh yes,
of all Barry Allens.
I can't remember when, but when he's like the postal worker, and it's like, oh man, you got here late. You're not being able to do your thing. And then he's like,
and they all form immunity against him.
Yeah, which basically is like what they're implying is that he uses his powers for everything and basically pisses off like his level of employees because he does everything super fast.
Oh man, we're gonna read something that very close to this when we're doing when we get to the introduction of Flash on Smallville, because it's a similar type of thing, but even though it's not Barry.
So at this party, Guy Gardner's girlfriend is there with another dude. It's like super awkward. So Fire kind of like saves him, and then this is also I think where we kind of learned that they had a thing for a minute, like him and Fire. So while this is going on, the Atom gets snuck in like somebody's pocket or briefcase. So he goes in, Tori is like looking at, he goes in, he breaks into places where we get like the dumb limbo scene. Guy is supposed to be watching the door, which he obviously leaves because he
sees the generic redhead.
Yes. So while Adam is in there, not in his Adam suit, this is when Tori shows up and is like, wait, who are you? And he's like, oh, like, I'm not what you think. Like, I'm undercover. Like, my name's Ray Palmer. We think that somebody here is working with the weatherman. Something like that. So I think this happens after they kidnap her. It doesn't really matter. So they basically leave. He gets out, and
what happens is she trips the alarm by
just walking in,
and he like shrinks down. The security comes in, and we just while they're thinking, or they assume everything is well. We then see while they're still in the room. By the way, he shrinks back up and leaves.
Like, walks right around them.
No, he is literally right behind them.
Yeah, and he, like, walks out the door and like, quietly closes it. When she's talking to Dr. Eno later on, the glasses, when she's, like, kind of nervous, the glasses behind her freeze, and he notices. And I think this is the next thing where, like, the next day, we're at Guy and Palmer's apartment.
And he notices
every show in the 90s is gigantic.
Yeah, but what? Oh, well, actually, this can be...
I actually don't mind this scene. Like, I think this is one of the better scenes in the movie. So... we can...
It makes sense because Guy is, again, borrowing from Hal. He's this salesman in his off time, which we never see. Because he's either with the generic redhead, trying to win her back, even though they were never really a thing. And the stuff in the apartment.
Yes, he like comes in and the apartment's completely clean. And he's like, oh, what'd you do, Ray? And like, I didn't do anything. It was Barry. He's like, oh, why did Barry? Oh, you didn't.
God damn it, Ray.
Yeah, and basically Barry cleaned the entire apartment. And then they walk into the other room and he's made like a gigantic breakfast for them.
And he ends up, first Guy gets mad that Barry did all his crossword puzzles.
Yeah, he like organized all his newspapers. And then, like, he's like, oh, awesome, thank you for making breakfast, but you're doing the dishes. And then Barry eats, like, half the food, which is another thing where I don't mind it.
It's part of, he mentions his metabolism.
And then I think this is when Fire comes in, and she, like, tells them about David. And then they go to, like, do stuff on the TV, and it doesn't work, and they try to fix it.
By forcing Ray to crawl inside the TV.
which another bad green screen moment. But they don't unplug it, so he gets electrocuted, and they call the repairman, who fixes it with a chewing gum wrapper.
Yeah,
Chewed up
he's
Barry's
like,
chewed
this
up
is
gum.
the
Hail
what is
Mary?
it? The Hail Mary. And he just chews up some gum and sticks it on the wire.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden,
I think he calls it the miracle,
Miracle Worker.
something like that. And
Yeah.
then we get Barry asking him, "Hey, you guys hiring?"
Yeah.
Bro,
Homeless
help him
Flash.
grow out, bro.
Yeah. So then he leaves, and this is where we get them. I think this is the first introduction of John Jones. So when he's talking to them through the TV.
Yeah, and as I mentioned, one of them says, "I hate when he does this," or "I hate when he does this. He talks to us like this."
Yeah. So basically, he's kind of like their Zordon. That's like the first thing that popped in my head. It's like, oh, he doesn't actually do anything. He just Rangers, I have a mission for you. He's their Zordon.
The reasoning for him being on Earth in that movie was just ridiculous.
What did they? I don't even remember what they. Oh,
he was
for
like
political freedom or something.
He was like, yeah, there's no freedom on Mars, so I'm coming to Earth to defend that freedom.
Oh my god! So it's kind of weird Superman stuff in there with the truth, justice, and the American way.
They say that, but
oh, I thought you were going to go with Young Justice Abridged Superman.
Oh god, yeah. So I believe this is when we get him going and transforming and going to the place, and Tori's basically yeah, I think it's the other guy. I don't remember what his name is. I think
he's not memorable.
Yeah, he's been acting weird, and he's wanting to talk to the guy.
And yeah, Barry he's because there is credibility towards the theory that he could be the Weatherman because he's acting weird in the beginning. He's talking to Dr. Eno about
some project that he's working on. He is secretive of that lab. There's just a lot of stuff. And then so he does come up and it's oh, you're gonna let me introduce this thing. Oh, that's what it was. This is before the party. He says you're gonna let me introduce the thing at the party. And he's yeah. Because at the party, Eno's I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah, this is just I mean, it ends up coming into use later. But Barry gets into his bed costume, runs over to where he tails the scientist or the meteorologist, and he commands him to open the box, and it's simply just it's a weather device.
Yeah,
to for precision or precise prediction.
Yep. So I believe so. Then when Eno's leaving, we see that it's John Jones because his hands to turn green, but he says something later on where it's oh, I can only hold a human form for so long. Yeah, this comes back later because whenever BB goes back and she gets a call from her agent, or Fire gets a call from her agent, and she meets him. It's oh, there's this big guy. He's talking about being you, so he takes her out to lunch, and then she goes to meet, and it's David Krumholtz's character, and he's
can I please bring up the story?
Yeah,
behind. Okay, so Ryan, I'm sure you saw this or heard this part. It was a throwaway line where the agent or the assistant secretary of the agent says, "You have a call 911 from Leslie Moonves. He was responsible for the cancellation of Star Trek Enterprise back in 2005.
I didn't put those two together.
He is responsible, ironically, for the birth of Star Trek Discovery, and he got fired. He got Me Too'd. Yeah, he got Me Too'd to death.
Yep. Yeah, I didn't even pick up on it until you told me about it. I was oh, that's funny.
I was and this was right before before he came to, or before he rose to be the head of CBS.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, she goes and it's David Krumholtz, and she's oh man, this is all a lie. And then he blah 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 blah, and he gives her a pair of earrings. And he's I saved up my allowance to give him, and they're seashell earrings. And then she gets a beeper thing, and she has to leave.
Well, there's some other stuff. He mentions the fact he says that he was an army brat.
Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that they have in common.
That a bunch of stuff about her, which can be I don't believe for a second.
Yeah, I have a feeling that they were setting him up to be something down the line, because it makes no sense why he's just shoehorned in as this character.
Yeah, because
it makes no sense to the plot. It is such a
the non Justice League related beeper thing she gets is you never called from, and it's Krumholtz's character. his name,
Mm-hmm.
and then we get a whole thing about like backstory about Fire and Guy dating,
Yes, yeah.
and how the problem, like they can never agree on anything, and they had to literally prove it by having Ray say like, which side do you think I should go with? They each point to, and he's holding up two ties. They point to like
the opposite ones.
Yeah.
So she leaves at some point. It's like, this is the plot here. They're like, the story is like all over the place. So I know we're jumping around a bit, but so she leaves that. At some point or another, like when you were talking about is when like she's like, oh, what'd you do? Like, oh, Guy Gardner gets the package back, and it's the bunny that he sent her, the girlfriend with the head cut off, which was pretty funny.
Yeah.
To see. And then I can't remember what causes it, but Ice goes and she goes to like find the thing after the Justice League talked to her, and she can't find it. And then she's like, oh, wait, the roof. And then that's when she walks up and she sees, is the weather man. And he does his whole, like, I saw what you did to the glass. The glass is like, the Darth Vader to Luke Skywalker, we could rule the universe together type thing. And
I thought, if I'm not mistaken, at first she walks in or she can hear, there's a weatherman attack or video. I don't know how he live.
Playing on a TV.
And she can hear the back, she can hear something, or she hears it.
Yeah, I think she thinks it's going to be the guy because she doesn't know it's not him yet.
Yeah, and she goes in.
It's the thing is not in the lab. So she's like, where is it? And she's like, oh, he would need like a satellite dish. And she's like, oh, there's a satellite on the roof.
Yeah, she goes in. And sees him. Turns out he's using a green screen, which the way he's using the green screen and
it makes like no sense. He has like a mounted thing on his chest with the camera pointing at him, like how you would do like a Spike Lee shot where like your camera is following and pointed at someone's face as they're running. But then he's not wearing any of the weatherman garb.
The tinfoil.
It's like superimposed on his face somehow in the video.
Makes no sense.
Yeah. So he gives her the whole speech. She says no and like runs away. And then he goes to open the door, but she like freezes the door and it hurts her. And then I'm trying to think because everything like bounces around. She goes home. No, I think she just runs away from him. And then she goes home and he shows up there and like does the speech to her at her house. And then she like blasts him with the ice to make him go away and like runs. And I think this is when like the Justice League people like come and get her.
Well, there's a bit of them, like the League interacting with her, sort of like
on and off.
Like,
yeah, this is like it's so bad that it's like so forgettable. Like a lot of the things, because I know like when Fire left Crumhole, it's like there was like hail coming down and people were getting because that's when the hail starts coming down is when Guy like ditches his girlfriend again after like finding her and then shows back up as Green Lantern and does like an umbrella to protect her.
And she's like,
fire flies up in the sky and melts it into rain. And so I don't remember Ryan, do you even remember how do they get her and bring her and make her bring her to their base? Which we'll talk about the base. I don't remember.
The way I remember it was she goes to Ray Palmer's house, and he's like, "I work with the police."
Oh yes, you're right. Yeah, this is the line where you're talking about before. I think Alan was saying before, there's not many Ray Palmers who are teachers.
Yeah, she's like, "I found you because there's not many Ray Palmers as teachers, but I need your help. I believe my boss is the weatherman, and I need your help." And he's like, "Yeah, I work with the police." And then he as soon as he tells her to leave, he's like, "I knew she'd be on our side."
Mm-hmm.
And then there's just a very great thing because it's just so badly written, where they're interacting at the party right before he does the he shrinks down and goes into accesses the files. They're hitting it off. They're sort of hitting it off, and she mentions stuff about trust and not knowing people having dual
identities and stuff.
Yeah, and it's just
he's he thinks she's talking about him, but it's not.
No. I mean, she's not against. She doesn't like it, and this is right before he reveals that this is before they reveal everything. So they're setting. They're also he has good intentions. They're setting him up as sort of a hypocrite.
Yeah, but then they actually do the thing where they haven't explained anything.
Yeah.
So, however, they get her into the base, which when we see the base, oh boy. So it's
It looked like
Is it a spaceship underneath their like ocean?
It was like there was somehow an elevator underneath like the Brooklyn Bridge that leads to like 1,000 feet deep underneath the water of a submarine / spaceship.
yeah, because there are lights very much like on the Enterprise.
It's weird because it doesn't look anything it looks you're right, like a submarine.
And it looks part submarine, part alien.
Yeah, it's weird looking, and it
Like
has
out
a
of this
magic.
world.
Yeah, it has a magic elevator that goes up 1,000 feet and enters in like a doorway that's part of like an overpass or like the very beginning of a bridge. And they go down there and basically they introduce themselves. This is when we get our first full body shot of Martian Manhunter and all of his gut glory.
Well, at first it's Miguel Ferrer or it's Eno or him shapeshifting as
Eno,
and
it's like, that's why he was acting all weird.
Yeah, and he explains himself, and he says he's the leader, even though he doesn't do anything.
Yes, again, he's the leader like Zordon.
Yeah.
And then this is where we get like our montage. Or no, then they're like, oh, we all got like our powers in a weird way. We didn't know what to use them. I think Fire says something like, yeah, until she met him, like he came there and found them. And Fire's like, yeah, like if he didn't help me, I don't know what I would have done. Like I would have lit everything on fire. I think Guy Gardner says like, yep, got a ring from like interdimensional like space. And Adam says like, I interacted with like some item that gave me radiation. And
it was like I think it was like a mineral, like some kind of because when they're like when he's talking to Ice, he's like I was around these rocks and some weird rock gave me the power to shrink.
Yeah, and then does Barry say he got hit by lightning?
Yeah, he said he got hit by a science experiment.
Yeah, except that he's like the dumbest human being ever, so I don't understand how that happened. So at some point during all this is when Krumholtz sees, so like he goes to get a milkshake and then he sees Fire wearing the earrings. I think it's when they saved the Hale thing. And he's like, oh my God, she's Fire. That's the whole thing. And then
this one was, I think it was the mudslide.
Was the mudslide?
They're like on the hill and like the news reporter comes up to interview her and she's still wearing the earrings.
Okay. And because is that at the end or is that?
We're like halfway through.
Yeah, and so then they come up with the plan, which isn't everything. So she's talking to him, and then Martian Manhunter shows up as Fire. And then, yeah, we do get, like, when they're talking to Ice in the thing, Adam, like, we actually get to see his origin, which he's, like, hiking, doing archaeological stuff.
He's collecting rocks.
And finds, he's like, this rock called to me. And it's, like, a clear rock that you would get at, like, a stone store in, like, a mall, or if you were really into crystals. And then it gives him radiation that makes him shrink. So we get that, and basically we get a montage of Ice trying to use her powers, everybody in parkas because they're freezing, because she can't freeze a drop of water, even though she's making the entire place super, super cold. And then, I'm trying to think, is this, yeah. So then Weatherman does this thing that they're going to do a tidal wave, and they're basically like, yeah, you can't, he also hits their base with a heat ray.
I don't understand the random laser beam attack. Like,
yeah.
I understand like how he finds it because like the weather machine was like it was actually like a beacon. But like, where did the Weatherman get like a giant space laser?
Yeah, because she brought it to them. Yeah, so then they're like, oh, what are we going to do? And then Martian Manhunter's like, don't worry about me. I can survive. Like, my home, like, this is like a beach day and, like, for my home planet. And this is the callback to the Miracle Worker where the Atom uses the gum to fix the elevator so they can take their elevator up. But then they ditch, after they get up, they ditch Ice. And even though she's like, oh, I want to help. And they're like, oh, you can't really do anything. And then, so Barry Allen's running around. He saves a bunch of kids. What does Green Lantern do?
And after he saves the kids, he's asked, "Are there any substitute teacher spots?"
Yes,
I need money.
I can't remember I don't remember what Green Lantern or Fire do.
Green Lantern flies off to find the Weatherman, and then Fire tries to stop the tidal wave.
Yeah, yes, because Green Lantern has the thing, and he finds him, and he's like...
He flies. I was very angry about how the Green Lantern flies. He basically Inspector Gadget, a little helicopter propeller out of his ring, and it was so ridiculous.
Yeah, and then he lands, and the Weatherman's like, "Oh, you want to stop this stuff?" And he's like, "Okay, I'll give me this, okay," and then just throws it to the side. It's like, dude. Like, why are you gonna let the villain just like he literally just like chucks it over the thing and breaks? It's like, oh no, you can't stop anything. It's just like, wow, you really do suck.
And then Green Lantern just flies away and leaves him there.
And he like does he like calm them? Like they have some sort of calm, I believe, or something, and he's just like, yeah, we can't stop it, and they don't know what to do. And then yeah, Ice runs up to it and freezes the tidal wave, and it starts to snow. And then she gets offered to be a member, and then Fire gives her her costume.
No. She right before while all this is happening, there's the interviews, and they mention stuff like that. They mentioned during. Apparently, this was both a sequel, like a prequel.
It's like the interviews are them kind of talking about
what like
the superheroes, but specifically with Ice, it's like her becoming a member of the team.
Yeah, like by the time like they offer her a spot on the team, hell, by the time they introduce her to Martian Manhunter, she's already talking about being like.
Yeah, well, even when the show starts off, it says like whatever Tori Offstadter / Ice like on the thing, so like you know that she's going to be like a hero.
And they allude to her and Ray Palmer dating.
Yeah. Oh my god, that is. I think that's the worst part is when she's like, "Oh, you're like such like, but you're such a nice guy," and you see him like mouthing it, and it's just like everything where she's trying to like give him encouragement. It's just like, oh, he's just such a dweeb, and it's just so bad. Like it just comes off so terrible, so like douche chilly.
They made a joke about I forgot where the whole joke originated. But it's the whole thing. It's that thing about that thing that you get joked about, or that thing that got joked about when like two teenagers who kiss and have braces. The fear of getting the braces like getting locked together, and she says something like that happened, but with Ice. So like she kissed a guy, or presume.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're guessing it, or everyone is like we're assuming it's Palmer,
right. But she doesn't say it is, which is weird. Yeah, she says that she has to like calm down in order for it to melt.
Yeah, and I'm forgetting which. I mean, I was either Fire Ice did appear in Justice League Unlimited.
I think Ice did.
No, Fire and Ice did. It was during when Amazo was coming back to Earth for Lex.
Oh no, I'm talking about the stuff with Wally had a crush on one of them.
It was Fire.
Yeah, well, because what's weird is Ice and Guy Gardner had like a thing in the comics for a really long time.
Yeah, and this is basically the JLI.
Yes. I don't know. Everything is just so weird. So just like it basically ends and she gets her costume. We get the clip that everyone's seen with them walking in step with each other. And then the last thing is like the weatherman like kind of implying he's going to figure out how to escape from prison. So we really didn't cover a lot of the stuff with them talking to camera, but like mostly because I felt like it was just like terrible. Like all that stuff to camera is just like weird. And if you cut all of it out, this would be like a 45-minute like episode of like a TV show. Like I don't understand why they did that. It's such like a drag on the plot, like on the story.
Maybe they were like trying to like add that comedic flair like The Office does with the interviews.
Yeah, well, yeah, and this is like decade before The Office.
Yeah.
But yeah, so this was made for, I believe it was made for CBS. It never aired in the US. It aired overseas. It was supposed to be basically a TV movie that was working as a pilot for a TV show. And then it just obviously was terrible and never worked. So there's just like so much weirdness of it. But like, yeah, this is around the same time as Batman and Robin.
Okay, so I found the reception on the wiki page for it.
Mm-hmm.
It's very short.
Oh, and actually, the Mark Waid thing.
Yeah, 80 minutes of my life I'll never get back.
Oh God, I completely. It is. I would say like I am glad I watched it because it was enjoyably terrible. Like compared to, trying to think what. I would say compared to like the Wonder Woman pilot, even though they were shorter, that was way more boring. Like this was a perfect, like, this is so terrible that it was entertaining. Like I kept being like, why is any of this happening? This is like, anytime Barry Allen opened his mouth, I was just like, who thought this was a good idea? Like who thought any of this was good?
The thing I ironically liked was the music.
Oh yeah, the score and like everything is pretty good.
Yeah,
the team is also interesting. Like, I wouldn't mind seeing this team. It's just,
and ironically, and it's something that will tie into Smallville. and other CW shows filmed in Vancouver, British Columbia.
Yes, well, because everything's cheaper in Canada. And I actually want to say, like, the only person who, like, casting-wise, who I did not like was the guy that played Barry Allen. I don't like how they made, like, their Green Lantern is, like, such a weird amalgam. Because he has, like, the personality...
He's basically just Guy and Hal.
Yeah, but except he has Guy's vest. He's called Guy, but he acts like Hal. But then he has like Kyle's mask and like
origin
and like gauntlets. No, it's not the origin, because in the apartment there's apparently a picture of Guy by a fighter jet.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it's in like one of the trivia things. You're looking at IMDb. Next to the phone in Green Lantern Adam's apartment, there's a framed picture of an Air Force jet. So I guess it's implying that Guy was a pilot before he was a software salesman, which I don't even understand the whole thing of them having jobs. Like, okay.
Yeah, like it says on the wiki, one of the common complaints that the members deviated heavily from their source characters.
Yeah, I would say like Fire probably is like the least. I actually want to click, because in my memory, Ice is she's literally like a magical character, I think. Yeah, she is. She's like a magic ice princess. And then Fire
was actually like well done. Like she was in the movie, she was like an actress.
Yeah, that's just
she's more of like a model and like her actual like story. And she was Brazilian, and her look was actually very similar.
Yeah, I think that's what like. I don't mind her. I don't mind the woman that plays Ice. I don't mind the guy that plays Guy Gardner if he was playing Hal Jordan. Like, I think he would have played that great.
Lou,
I actually like the guy that.
Did you watch the video I sent you when I realized who the actor playing Guy was?
Oh, I don't remember. I might have watched it. I know you said he was some Band of Brothers.
It shows how good he can be when giving goods material.
Yeah, well, I think he's I actually think that he's not bad in this character. It's just that it's not that like it's Hal Jordan, but like it's just who cares about all this other stuff. And then the Atom, I think the guy was actually great. I actually really liked him as Ray Palmer. The costume is just horrendous. I actually don't know if his or the Flash's costume is worse. Because the Flash is wearing straight up spandex, except that they put like these weird. His like helmet thing is so weird. Like I don't know how else to, because he has the lightning bolts on the side, but then his like mask over his eyes is like hard, and then like goes up and over his head, in like a separate piece than the rest of the cowl. Yeah, like I don't know, like because I don't like of the costumes. I think that his is the worst because like I kind of forgive that Adams is at least trying to be what the comic book is. It just looks so cheap. That's probably the main problem of the show. That this thing is that they put like no money into it. Now, did you guys have any specific thoughts overall on anything?
They could have chose like a better team up. Like out of all of the characters, they could have choose like more recognizable characters than Fire and Ice. Like not many people know who they are.
Here's the thing. I don't think they obviously Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, the Trinity were probably harder. I think it would have been easier to get Wonder Woman because they weren't doing anything with that, and Batman was in limbo after Batman and Robin.
Yeah,
there's a whole Superman Reborn story, like that whole fiasco.
Yeah, Batman and Robin killed 3 franchises because they were supposed to spin off. It was supposed to be a 5th Batman, a Nightwing, and the Superman Reborn, and I'll connect all of that.
And like it even says that apparently the Weatherman is an actual character. Turns out he's an actual character, or it's take on Weather Wizard, but it is based. It's on the Justice League International, or as they're now known, as it's been reprinted, formerly known as Justice League or something.
Yeah, there was like it's kind of the old late 90s, early 2000s JLI. The team that was like with Booster Gold and such.
They should have had like Booster Gold and Blue Beetle instead of Fire and Ice.
But then like I don't mind Fire and Ice. Beetle, like if it would have been basically a swap out for Atom, but Booster Gold would have been a better thing to put in there than Green Lantern
instead of Guy. Yeah,
because he could have done exactly the same thing.
Well, I mean, there are certain things that don't line up. Like certain characters, I can see being in the same in a similar in like the same story, like Flash and Atom, and Guy to some extent. but and also Martian Manhunter, because they were all around the same time.
Yeah, I see. To me, like Manhunter is like the one that's like the most out of left field here. Like, I don't understand why he's there. I guess the like because they kind of like have him be like this big reveal, and he is basically, I joked before, but like he is literally like their Zordon. Like, I don't know how else like describe him as, because his one act, like he like helps Fire trick the kid, and then he impersonates the doctor, like Dr. Eno. Like, that's all he does. And then he sits there and talks to them through their TV. Like, I guess he's like their, because he's not even like Superman like analog. He's this like other like mentor figure to them, which is weird.
I'm gonna pull a line from Blackest Night, which is again ironic because we were talking about Blackest Night last week.
Mm-hmm.
On Now Comics. It's Barry and Hal. I think they drop a building on Black Lantern Jean, and he lifts it up, throws it at them, and says, "Have you guys forgotten I'm as strong as Superman?"
Yeah, he's a little less strong as Superman. He has laser eyes, but he can also phase, and he's psychic. So yeah, like I don't know. There's just like this kind of reeks of like it's like a network trying to do something with the rights that they have to characters, but at the same time, like it is kind of an interesting out of left field take, like doing this weird like Friends/interview thing.
Friends with superpowers.
Yeah, but then there's like the whole like the interview thing it's different, but it's like all the things that they went different on are just not good. It's like they're like, oh, let's do something new and different, and they made every wrong choice possible. And then I did see on here that they brought in Louis Teague to like try to fix some stuff, and he's just like, no, I can't fix anything, and don't put my name on it.
Why does that name not sound familiar?
Because he's directed like a ton of amazing things. He directed Cujo. He directed Cat's Eye, which is a Stephen King thing. Jewel of the Nile. I'm looking through his IMDb now.
Oh my god!
He directed some episodes of Barnaby Jones, Cujo, Cat's Eye, Jewel of the Nile.
The director,
Mm-hmm.
the guy who ended up directing this, he ended up doing like a lot of like one-off episodes of TV shows like Dollhouse.
Joss Whedon's show.
He did that. He did 2 episodes of Battlestar, like the reboot.
Oh, the Sci-Fi Channel one.
Yeah, his first credit was Lois and Clark back in '94. And the last thing he did was an episode of The Good Fight, so he's still active. But yeah, he hasn't. The closest he got going back to like this sort of premise or type of series was The Tomorrow People with Peyton List, Robbie Amell on CW.
Okay.
I mean, like one of the two writers for the film, David Hasselton, he did a long run on House and the animated features Over the Hedge and Brother Bear.
Okay. I'm looking out because it was brought up like the music and stuff. So
John Debney.
Yeah, he's done like a bunch of like good stuff. Hocus Pocus, The Town Santa Forgot, House Guest, which I guess is the one. Yeah, it's the one, the Sinbad movie. He did Doctor Who, Sudden Death, which is the Jean-Claude Van Damme movie. The Relic, Liar, Liar, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Paulie, the John Taylor Thomas, I'll Be Home for Christmas, My Favorite Martian, Inspector Gadget.
He also did a one-off episode of the last season of TNG.
No, really? Yeah, it showed that he did a bunch. Like
he did 2 episodes of Deep Space Nine in the first season.
Yeah, he did he's always done a bunch of Disney stuff because his dad worked for Disney. So he's done Spy Kids, Cats and Dogs, Princess Diaries, Jimmy Neutron, Snow Dog, Scorpion King,
the Disney Family album.
Mm-hmm.
And Welcome to Pooh Corner, which
yeah. Oh, he did Bruce Almighty, Malibu's Most Wanted, Elf, Welcome to Mooseport. The big one is he did Passion of the Christ, which he was nominated for an Academy Award.
He actually did the Men NFL 19 soundtrack.
Oh, he did
the score.
Sin City.
Oh wow. My god!
So he's done a bunch of
Yeah, his latest.
He did that Venom movie that they did on Movie Dumpster.
He actually is responsible for the theme or he co-created the theme, the now iconic theme for the Orville.
Oh, wow.
Really?
He did work on Iron Man and Iron Man 2.
And his most recent credit was the Dora the Explorer movie.
Oh, really? The new one that's coming out? That actually doesn't look bad.
He co-did it with Jermaine Franco.
And he did the SpongeBob movie, Jungle Book. He works with Favreau a lot. Disney.
That was his fourth collab with him.
Yeah, so that is why the music is really good, is because
the music is better, much better than it deserves to be.
Wow. Yeah, he did the theme for Santa Clarita Diet, Young Sheldon, had the Hatfields and McCoy, which was the History Channel show they did. Yeah, he's done a crazy ton of stuff. Which that's why the music is the best thing in the whole show.
There's a Flash, CW Flash association. He did Yogi Bear.
Oh God!
Which had the Ranger played by what's his face?
Oh, it's what's his name, right? It's
Wells.
Wells, yeah. Oh man, Tom Cavanaugh.
Yeah.
Oh wow! All right.
Apparently, I'm not allowed to talk about that in the Fan Zone chat anymore because they had no idea what it was.
What, the Yogi Bear thing?
They had completely forgotten it.
Oh, didn't they do 2 of those? With Dan Aykroyd was the voice.
Yeah.
Oh God. I don't know. I always think of him besides Flash as the older brother from Scrubs.
Yeah.
All right. So I think we've covered everything we can.
I think we've spent more time talking about. We've spent more time talking about what the actors and stuff and writers and stuff did either before or after, more than talking about the actual.
The movie is terrible.
That just screams how just says so much about the quality of it.
Yeah, I would say my recommendation is I think it's something you can watch for how terrible it is, but just skip around and just look at costumes and acting. You don't need to watch it for any sort of story. Just watch it for what the fuck was going on with this thing, and that is how I would recommend it. But you can get it for free online because it's the only way you can find it.
Yeah, it's. I found it. Lou basically shared told me where I could find it.
Yeah, it's the exact same way we watched the Wonder Woman pilot. It's it's one of those things where they don't want anybody to see this thing, but it's the internet, so. Did you guys have any final thoughts on it?
I'm excited for the sequel.
Didn't they already do that one? It's only slightly better. And the special effects with getting rid of mustaches were only slightly better.
Yeah. I did like the special effects though.
They were not bad for the time. It's just the green screen work with the Atom is just gross. I think the best thing is the ice stuff and the fire. It's actually the best fake fire I think I've seen. They
could have made it green to match her actual fire, but her flying around was kind of goofy.
Yeah, but Flash is just it's an easy thing to do because you just have him be there and then you
fast forward.
Yeah. Yeah, so, that was kind of it. And so, I guess, plugs. Ryan, do you have anything you would like to plug?
You can get further updates on everything on the Phantom Zone group on Facebook.
Yeah, you're our man on the mountain watching for Doomsday Clock.
I'm
and Heroes in Crisis.
Yeah, and now Heroes in Crisis.
That's all. That's not going to continue until Doomsday Clock continues. So it's in they're both on hold right now.
Yeah. And then Ryan is on with me and Alan on And Now Comics, which comes out every Thursday on this stream. And you've also been on with us on Legion of Tunes, which we will hopefully have a new episode out this week. And you can check that out as part of Los Haro. That's losharo.wordpress.com, which there's a ton of other podcasts and awesome things that you can find on there, including Los Haro Games, which Alan runs.
No, I don't run that. Hunter runs that.
Oh, well, okay. I don't know. You're the master of Los Haro Games. That's what I always thought. So you have Los Haro Games, but you're on the podcast and you write for it.
Yeah. By the time this comes out, my review for my very, very, very late review of the first episode of Life is Strange 2 will be out. On the episode 26 of LHG hasn't come out yet, but we talked about bunch of some E3 stuff, and the controversies with NetherRealm Studios and Riot Games.
Oh, I will look forward to that because I'm interested. I don't know about these controversies. The only
Let's
thing
just say that
I've seen is that Netflix thing.
let's just say that one has to do with PTSD. You can probably guess which one. And one is about working conditions. Actually, both of them are about working conditions as well.
Oh, because the only other game thing I've seen recently is, I guess, John Barenthal's did stuff for
the new
Recon.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, Punisher. That makes me interested because I would just pretend it's like a Punisher prequel game.
Couldn't protect him, Rick.
You're just one bad day away, Red.
Yeah.
They killed my family. Get to me.
I love season 2 of Punisher, so if you haven't watched it, go watch that.
Yeah, it's good.
I would say the only thing I've been playing, because I'm like really weird, is I downloaded Pokemon Uranium, and I'm almost done with it. Which was like that fan-made Pokemon game. That is the only game that Nintendo ever sent a cease and desist to. It's because it's really good. It's like a 50-hour game. So I guess that wraps us up. So stay tuned for Season 4, which will be starting up real soon.
Can't wait.
Yeah. So I'm Lou Gonzalez. And
I'm Amir.
And I'm Ryan.
And this podcast, or this specific episode, does not stand for truth, justice, and American way. It stands for crap.
I was going to say, damn it, Barry.
Damn it, Barry.
There is no way out of here. That is the point of the Phantom Zone.